Today's Wednesday, July 8th, 2015, and you're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today at www.eesf.org.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listen, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Wrapped up in my headphone cord here. No, thank you. Hey, it's great to be here, everybody. I feel as if it has literally been, I don't know, forever since I put a show out, even though it's only been 2 weeks. And in the grand scheme of things, 2 weeks is not very long. But hey, thanks to everybody who sent me emails asking if I was alive or not. I greatly appreciate your concern. I did not post any no-show notices for the last 2 weeks. I did kind of give an update the last show I did that there probably wouldn't be any shows. I don't remember. It's all kind of fuzzy to me. But for those of you looking for me and making sure I was okay, alive, and not in some ditch somewhere, I appreciate that. Thank you for your concern. But yeah, it's good to be back. Had a busy 2 weeks, as many of you know. Attended the Elevator U conference in Columbus, Ohio. 2 weeks ago, actually, that was the week of, I want to say the 21st, but I could be wrong on that. Anyway, and had a great time. Really, I think the presenters were really, really well. Were good. I should say. I can't speak English. It's early yet, but I think they did a really good job. The feedback that we received from many of the colleges and universities was nothing but positive. And I just want to personally thank everybody who attended that event, supported it, and also just made it what it is and what it was each and every year. It coming from a non-profit or volunteer organization, 100%. It's very difficult to run one of these events without, true passionate people. Want to congratulate Brad O'Gwin, the secretary, I should say, for Elevator U, for being awarded the John Blatt Award. And if you don't know what that is, go over to elevatoru.org. Brad did a great job, and you've always done an excellent job at promoting the Elevator U, and we greatly appreciate that. Everything that you do. So thank you for that, and congratulations on that. And it's just a small way that Elevator U remembers somebody in the industry that was a pretty cool and great person. So congratulations. So yeah, great event. Unfortunately, I had to leave 1 day early. I wasn't able to stay until Thursday. I actually got up, after the vendor show on Wednesday, drove. I got up actually about 1:30. Had about 3 hours of sleep, drove back home, worked a full day on Thursday and Friday, and then headed out to California to spend some time with family in the Santa Cruz area. Had a great time. Went to Yosemite. It was one of those vacations though that I wasn't quite able to settle down. You know what I mean? Where just had work on your mind, and that's the kind of vacation you need. You need to go for 2 weeks. And let the first week kind of allow you to let go of work and just stuff that is in the back of your mind. So that was kind of hard. And plus we had a couple people on vacation, which didn't make it any easier, but still made the best out of it. Had a great time. Flew back late Sunday night And here we are today. So back in the thick of things. July is going to be a busy month for me at work and through for the EESF and just a bunch of stuff. Kind of hoping that towards the end of the month I can take a few days off, which I hope all of you do as well. Make sure you schedule vacation time into your schedule, into your busy day, because at the end of the day, if you're not taking that time, you're going to, it doesn't make sense to either cash it in or lose it. Not that many of you are going to lose it, but, take time to take off. It's so important to do that. And, obviously I don't do enough of that. Because typically what happens, you go away and you got a whole bunch of stuff to come back to that didn't get done or you got to attend to. But it's all going to be there waiting for you when you get back anyway. So what's the big deal? You know what I mean? So make sure you schedule your vacation time and do so as soon as you can, because before you know it, it's going to be Christmas again. It's going to be December. So had a nice 4th of July weekend. Hopefully everybody did as well. Nobody blew out their fingers. And it was a nice 3-day weekend, which I was in California for. So enjoyed it immensely. I love that area. And maybe someday I'll end up retiring there if I'm lucky. So I was surprised there wasn't that much content online, but there were some pretty important articles that we'll cover. Nice, good blog post. And so we'll have you out of here in about 30 minutes or so. And as always, thanks for joining us today. If you're tuning in from iTunes or whatever, I don't know, media aggregate you're checking out or downloading the show or watching on YouTube, greatly appreciate that. Again, tell your friends, your families, your enemies, your lovers, your whoever about the show. If you find an article that you like to share, just say, hey, heard this on the Elevator Radio Show. Greatly appreciate that. That's how we grow. Not that I really track that information, but remember, I'm not doing this for any kind of money whatsoever. It's mainly as a public service to everybody out there in the industry and trying to bring us together in a way, although even technology has changed to some extent. And if you have any news, send it to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com. All right, up next, news.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, this first news article or blog post I thought was very, very interesting, and I agree 100% with this. And Daniel, thank you for posting it. It's coming from the Elevator blog, and it kind of relates to inspection companies, employee-tested mechanics conflict of interest. And I love this article because if any of you out there have ever attended a conference where you have a presenter that's actually presenting on a topic, and have you ever been sitting in the audience and then you realize, did he or she just say that? Well, the presentation I think that Daniel is talking about here or covering is one of those where I'm like, did the presenter really say that? And in terms of his own opinion of MCPs being bad, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, but to each their own. Obviously, you have, everybody has the right to have their own opinion, but the reality is working backwards of why MCPs were created in the first place, not that they are necessarily, an easy thing to put together. And honestly, CodeDataPlate.com has their own MCP, and we get around it. We not get around it, but many companies are doing it the right way and setting up MCPs either on their own or going through the MCP program that CodeDataPlate offers or whatnot. But the reality is that it's kind of scary. Obviously, we all are aware of states that have third-party inspections, and there are many situations where it may not be ideal. Long-term or short-term for that matter. So, Daniel, thanks for posting. I know it's been a little while since you posted, and this is one of those topics where I really appreciate you doing it like right on the spot because it was fresh in your head, and it's what you're writing about here is pretty unique. So I encourage you to get subscribed to his blog, and also read it. Share your own comments with elevator inspections in your neck of the woods and see how it all works. And the reality is that when you take a step back, we're there. They are there. Inspectors are there. Consultants. We're there to make sure equipment is safe to ride by everybody, safe to be inspected, worked on, et cetera, et cetera. So those are really the keys, regardless of the politics or the pricing or whatever. Let's just do the job that needs to be done, and do it right. And that's really all I want to add to that. But I I really like the article, Daniel. So thank you for posting it. And I thought that was a good way of leading. Okay, San Japan attendees. I guess that's some kind of conference in San Antonio. Attendees have faced reduced elevator access at the Grand Hyatt in San Antonio, and apparently this is some kind of get together anime. I guess here we go. It runs from August 31st to August 2nd, and at the convention center has a nearby Grand Hyatt hotel. And they are basically, Grand Hyatt has made the decision to limit the elevator usage in that hotel, because apparently last year people that weren't even staying at the hotel were using it. Encourage you to check. At first, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a lawsuit here for accessibility, but they're going to. Sounds as if they're addressing it properly with wristbands and whatnot, and they're looking to draw about 14,000 people. Look at these photos. I wish I could get into stuff like this, but I am not quite there. Take a look at the at the costumes. A lot of these people have put on to attend the event. To each their own, right? Perfect. Okay, ramp to be built outside courthouse because of elevator project. This comes from the Observer. Oh, 9 more articles remaining before they shut my access down. Anyway, when Washington County Courthouse was built more than 100 years ago, has housed no elevator. The courthouse was retrofitted with a single shaft, but when that one is being rehabbed this summer, the county is preparing to offer alternatives to those with disabilities who are unable to reach the second, third floor. Yeah, it seems like that would be a good idea to add. Apparently, the contract was awarded to Otis Elevator for a price of just under $1 million. And they're in the process of doing that. One of those deals where you wonder, man, how long? How did it take this long? But obviously funding, whatever, to do that is sometimes more linked to the issue than anything else. Okay, elevator installed for wounded veterans train, and this is in Bedford County, Virginia. Have an update on a construction project that help wounded veterans train for new careers protecting children from online predators. That's a pretty good, interesting job right there. But good news, nice to see facilities are being, again, brought up to accessibility codes, whether they are grandfathered or not. And obviously we wish all of our wounded veterans an opportunity and the best of luck with their job searches and whatnot. So, okay, apparently a man was accused of grabbing a child, luring to a hotel elevator. These kind of stories make me sick. This coming from myfoxorlando.com. And if you've heard anything in the news as of late, this stuff kind of makes me sick. It doesn't kind of make me sick. It makes me sick. And when I hear about, child predators or what do you call them? Pedophiles. I just really hope that someday they get what they have coming to them in some jail cell. And hopefully it is not what they are expecting. So, I was reading an article about Jared at Subway and all the crap that he's involved with. It's like, oh my gosh, if you just wonder, sometimes what the world, I guess the world is filled with many, many sick people out there. So, anyway, okay, apparently, and I should say he's accused. He's not been committed yet, but still scary. Okay, Channel 4, NBC News, New York.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? I don't know why I'm here. It's awfully early. I'm going to let everybody click on that link on their own, but the general gist of the article here, or the news story, is that passengers were stalled in an elevator at the light rail station in New Jersey, and it's a pretty extensive article. What I like about it is that while the media tried to sensationalize it, the representatives from the light rail station say, hey, we did everything we were supposed to do. We have processes in place. And even when the mayor, the media got a hold of the mayor, who literally is like, what are you talking about? And so he made some public statement noting that, they didn't contact us when there was an issue. And, they shouldn't have to contact the mayor, for goodness sakes. And they did what they needed to do to extract the people. It sounds like it was, a beyond normal type of situation, but I thought it was great. So shame on you, media, for trying to make something more than it was. Glad everybody's okay. And the mayor of wherever this town is, New Jersey, or not New Jersey, not the mayor of New Jersey, that doesn't make sense. But, come on. have a little faith in, or get a little more information before commenting to the media about whether or not your office should have been contacted about an elevator being, stalled with people in it. Okay. Okay. Elevator replacement scheduled. It's coming from the Northwest Indiana Times. In Hobart, Indiana, a project to replace an elevator at City Hall beginning Monday and will run through July 17th. I guess slow news day in Indiana or Hobart. Next article. 2 die in NRZ building elevator accident. This is coming from the Standard news source. I'm not sure where this is at. Where is NRZ? Where is NRZ? Well, I don't know. Don't know where this is at. Oh, Zimbabwe. Okay, there. I was going to say, I think that's where 2 people died after an elevator at the National Railways Zimbabwe building developed a fault and broke loose, plunging 8 floors down. Oh. Right. Well, it's in a different country. Doesn't make it excusable, but man, scary. I don't think I'll ever ride an elevator or lift in another country. You just don't know. You don't know what's going on. This is a pretty cool article. A couple of Otis elevator mechanics in Milwaukee. I'm going to go back because it's going to play some loud ad. Apparently tackled a suspected purse snatcher while they were on their lunch break. So watch the video. Hats off to them for their call of action and doing the right thing and, kicking some ass. Way to go. Way to go. Very cool. Okay, next news article. Report reveals downside of BC elevator and escalator use. You know what? You wouldn't read about an article like this here in the United States, hence the reason why this is coming from the Vancouver Sun in British Columbia. But it is interesting, and it makes me, or it should make all of us, think about the various accidents that either don't get reported or are kind of, I guess swept under the carpet to some extent. And I don't know whether or not this kind of data use is available under the Freedom of Information Act. I don't think it really is, honestly, here in the United States. But apparently this is a report indicating that report reveals downside of British Columbia elevator and escalator use, blows to the head, tumbling seniors, clothes caught in machinery among 2014 incidents. Man, so they have about 71 incidents reported to the authority in 2014. And there's some interesting ones here, and which is kind of scary. What makes this article even more interesting is this: when my family and I were in Yosemite, we hiked up to 2 falls, and the uppermost one was Vernal Falls, and to get up to Vernal Falls, it's like a variety of rock stairs and sharp cliffs that you could fall over on. Actually, I lost my sunglasses as I took my hat off, and they went flying down on the rocks. And actually, they didn't go all the way over the edge. They were right on the edge of a rock where I could have probably gone down and gotten them, but I'm like, forget it. I'm not even going to take that chance of the possibility of falling over and dying. But it was right at that point in Yosemite when I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how many people just die. Just literally die because, not from a heart attack, but because they've fallen over the side of the falls or an edge. And I'm thinking, I'm sure there are more types of articles like this or accidents that occur all over the world that we really don't know about. Not that I want to know about it, but it should make us all aware that, hey, be careful. Be real careful. And there's definitely a need for education, obviously, for how to ride equipment correctly, and it just kind of brought some things to light. The same thing could be said about crossing the street and whether or not crosswalks work, and how many people are hit by cars because either A, the crosswalks weren't lit up enough, or the lines were faded. I don't know. It's just like, man, I was a little concerned about that. So that was interesting. So we don't see too many articles like this in the United States, and probably for litigation reasons. And, again, the media is just awful at reporting, elevators down. It's been down for what we assume is like 18 years or whatever, and then, it never gets any further than that. So pretty interesting. Okay, Elevator World Unplugged has a cool article on their Elevator World Unplugged website. talking about the Elevator World Vertical Transportation Industry Profile 2014 edition. And this is an annual study, kind of a recap on what it contains. And it's kind of interesting, and kind of some of the issues that are being faced by our industry and whatnot. So I encourage you to read that. Elevator World also has a section on their website. I'm not sure if you knew about this, but they've got an online extras for July 2015. And these are photos that don't get into the magazine, if you can imagine. We've got lots of photos that are included, but there's just not enough room to publish them. So check those out. If you can somehow, favorite them, I encourage that as well. Okay, next article that I found, China exports are on the rise. I don't exactly know what this means. I have a feeling, and I'm not sure where these are going, but apparently new elevator output sustained growth momentum, but at a slower pace. In 2014, China's elevator output exceeded 700,000 sets. I don't know what that means. I don't know if we're talking complete elevators or what. Up about 12% from a year ago compared with a year-on-year growth rate of 18% in 2013. So where are these lifts going? I don't know. Or what is considered a set? Not that I really care. But if you are, in a vendor or in the manufacturing sector, you are receiving a billion, I don't want to say a billion, you're receiving a lot of emails every day from China wanting to sell or buy or copy, your equipment. It's just like crazy. I wish I could turn it off, but it's hard to do that. Okay, next article, enca.com, apparently in South Africa. This is actually the same article. I think this is the same article we talked about before in South Africa. No, it's not, actually. This is a different one. That other one I think was from May 17th. That doesn't make any sense. No, that's actually not. Forget that. Okay. Anyway, you can read about this. Link is in the show notes. Doesn't give a whole lot of detail on it. Worker's leg gets caught in an escalator. This is an article talking about the Rosslyn Metro Station's escalator, and apparently a 23-year-old man, an employee of escalator contractor Kone, got his leg trapped between framework of an escalator and a steel plate just before 2 a.m. Kind of scary. Glad he's going to be okay. But again, you got to be careful what you're working around, and make sure you're thinking safety every moment of the day. Vulcan Park's unique elevator, another Elevator World unplugged website post. This is cool. I never knew anything like this existed. The photograph is totally awesome. It's an article talking about Vulcan Park's unique elevator, just 4 hours north of Elevator World offices here in beautiful Mobile, Alabama's largest city, Birmingham. One of the main attractions is Vulcan Park, which features the largest cast iron statue ever produced in the United States. Wow. Anyway, it was Vulcan is the Roman god of fire and forge, chosen in 1903 to represent the city. It was showcased at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri by its Italian sculptor Giuseppe Moretti. Yeah, man, 56 feet, and there is an exterior elevator, which is kind of cool how that was added. I don't know when it was added, but very, very cool. Like to see, oh, there it is. That's pretty cool. Pretty darn snazzy. I wonder how many, hopefully they don't have too many shutdowns, because equipment looks as if it's not weatherproof or weathertight. So anyway, link is in the show notes and photos as well for you to check out if you're listening to the podcast and not watching it. Okay, in the last news article of the show, this gives me the willies. And if you know, if you know what the willies are, well, they're awful. They cause issues in certain parts of the body where you're like, ugh, Apparently, a man caught by hair on Central Railway Station escalator. Daily Telegraph reporting this occurred. I don't want to get beyond that.
Hello, today's headlines for Monday, June 22nd. The government's proposed citizenship laws for jihadists could be a step closer to reality.
Okay, let me just do that. I shut that off. I thought that was the article. But yeah, apparently, look at these images. Oh my gosh. How in the world? Okay, this is ridiculous. How in the world did some dude's head get all the way down to the escalator step? I mean, come on. You know, the brush on the side of an escalator is not intended for combing your hair. Apparently, a 45-year-old was screaming in pain as police worked to free his hair and clothes from the escalator. He lay on top of the escalator with his head still on the top step, with police officers offering first aid until he arrived. My God. Okay, so parts of the man's shredded clothing was still on the escalator after he was eventually moved. The man was taken to Vincent's hospital in stable condition and is currently assisting police on an earlier matter. Oh, and is currently assisting police on an earlier matter at the station. He has not been charged. My God. Oh, what in the world? Come on, this is not how you ride an elevator. You did not use the brush on the side of an escalator to basically comb your hair. Man. It makes me sick looking at these photos. Okay. Maybe this is Darwinism. I don't know. Anyway, well, everybody, that's going to do it for this week's show. As always, thank you for joining me today. It's a nice, quick, short show. I wish I could still be on vacation. Wish I could still be in Santa Cruz, California. But the reality is that we got to work. Got to work, pay the bills, and pay the mortgage so we can pay for the next vacation. That's the bottom line. So as always, think safety, number one, on your priority list each and every day, no matter how you touch elevator equipment or escalator equipment or moving walkway equipment, and make sure you spread that safety message to those you work with. Make sure you go home each and every night to your family and encourage those around you to practice safety each and every day. All right, everybody have a great rest of the week, a great weekend, and we will talk to you next Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.